Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, as a young person just starting out, what are some of the most important foundational things you recommend I do to start growing wealth? Okay, I'm going to give you the same advice that I constantly reinforce with my own children, my own adult children, by the way. And it is going to be tough to hear because it is not exciting. It is not fast. It's not thrilling. It is simple, boring advice that is tried and true and tested over decades, and it works. So I say there are a couple of things. You have to first develop some foundational habits. And of course, those things are maintaining steady income and staying on a budget, not overspending, not spending to your limit, because you have to also allocate money towards savings and investing. And when I say savings, high yield savings account is good enough. Investing, keep it simple. Stay away from the big dopamine hit, big get rich quick type of investments. You know, I would run from the crypto and run from, options trading and all these things that have a promise of getting rich if you hit, but don't really work, right? So stay away from, the sports betting, when now they have it called some kind of market, prediction market. It's ridiculous. It's betting. Stay away from, those things that are high risk, that if you win will give you this huge payoff, when it's consistency and time that really gets you wealth. So to develop that habit, I would just have things automated. So out of your direct deposit from your check, I would have some money go to savings and some money go to your investments. Your investments can be really simple, a small portfolio, index fund, maybe some type of interest income from maybe crowdfunding, or things that are solid but diversified that will pay you over time. You have to, even though you don't think you need it because you're young and you think you're invincible, you need to get a term life insurance policy. Get it now when you're young because it's cheaper, and you can always increase the death benefit when you get a family. You can also expand the coverage to get riders to cover a spouse and children, later on. But it will always be less expensive if you do it when you're young, and you need minimally enough to bury you, because you shouldn't put that burden on anyone. You should also be developing your credit without trying to incur a lot of debt. So should you finance a car? Yes, if you can make the monthly payments, because that helps build credit. Should you get a credit card and use it? Yes, but pay the bill off at the end of the month so you don't carry a debt over time. So you're building credit, which you will definitely want later, especially if you want to buy a house or something like that, without incurring a huge debt. I would say in the basic skills, trying to figure out other sources of income. So multiple streams of income as opposed to just a job, because when you're young, you have time on your hands and you have the ability to kind of play around and make a few mistakes with other income streams. So if you had an entrepreneurial spirit, then, you might want to try something like that. So those are fundamental skills, or fundamental actions that you have to develop. But then there's other fundamental skills that I think you should be developing. Critical thinking and problem solving skills. I mean, that's going to take you far in life, whether you decide to stay on the job or become an entrepreneur or become an investor. Being able to look at information and qualify it and see what's valid and what's not, and how to overcome certain new issues, novel issues that will come up in the world. So that's important. I think developing your financial fundamentals, of course, whether you're talking about improving your investing skills, improving your, just money management skills, all those things are important. I think as a fundamental skill, staying up with the latest technology. Right now, AI is the big thing, but that's evolving so fast, it's hard to stay up with. But always, as the technology advances, to be right there with it, so that you don't get left behind. I think also, which is really big, communication skills. That will take you far in life. It's so important to be able to articulate your thoughts and your ideas, to be able to receive, other people's thoughts and ideas, I think communication is critical. So that's a fundamental skill. And I think the final thing is build your network. But that's the fun part, because every time you socialize, you have the opportunity to build your network. You should be talking about what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish. And some people will say, oh, let me introduce you to so-and-so. Take the invitation to meet so-and-so, but nurture that relationship once it's made. So attend events, attend social gatherings, but always be able to communicate what it is you're trying to accomplish, so that there's somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who can always help you advance in that way. So I think those are the fundamental skills and fundamental actions that you should take. Again, developing good financial habits early and automating them, avoiding distractions like all the things that would give you a dopamine hit. Growing wealth is just about time and consistency. It's boring, right? It's not the get rich quick things like young people imagine them to be. Run from those things like the plague, and develop, personal skills. Again, communication, critical thinking, technology, those type of things, and of course, building and extending your network and nurturing those relationships in the network. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. What other things do you think would be good advice for a young person? But please like, share, subscribe, keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.